Hello there, my friend. Welcome to class. My name's Adrienne, and this is a short tutorial massage class on how to massage your rotator cuff muscles using a massage ball or a tennis ball. You can also use a lacrosse ball, but just know that the areas that we will be working in can be rather sensitive, so the hardness of a lacrosse ball can be kind of intense, but it's user's choice. The other thing that you'll need for this class is also a yoga block. You can also use a thicker book or something like that. We're going to be supporting our heads and our hips with the object that you're using. So something kind of sturdy like a yoga block if you don't have a yoga block. Now, before we get into the actual massage part, I want to talk just really quickly about your rotator cuff muscles. So your rotator cuff muscles are muscles of the shoulder. You actually have 4 rotator cuff muscles. A lot of people don't know that. And they live kind of on and around your shoulder blade and attached to your upper arm bone or your humerus. And they do just what it sounds like in the name. They rotate your upper arm bone in the socket. They also help stabilize the humeral head in the socket as you move around. And they also help move the scapula a little bit and draw the scapula forward. So where we're going to be working today is along this kind of outer armpit wall, right along the edge of your shoulder blade. So just to get familiar with this area before we massage it, I want you to take your hand and just kind of palpate. If you can, reach back there. See if you can actually touch the edge of your shoulder blade. You'll feel a bony edge that runs along your back there, along that outer armpit wall. And then that's where your teres minor lives. That's one of your rotator cuff muscles. Your subscapularis is underneath your shoulder blade, between your shoulder blade and your rib cage. So we can't actually massage that one. And then the top of your shoulder blade, that's where your supraspinatus lives. So if you kind of palpate on the top, you have your upper trap, which is like this big meaty muscle. But if you kind of roll to behind that, and you feel from the bony top of your shoulder, you'll feel a divot as you drop back, and then kind of work along that top edge of your shoulder blade. And right in there is your supraspinatus. And then your infraspinatus is actually on your shoulder blade. So you may or may not be able to touch your actual shoulder blade, but just know that if you can kind of feel your shoulder blade move around, it lives on the actual shoulder blade. So we will be putting the massage ball directly on the shoulder blade. And it might feel a little weird because it is a bone, but there is a muscle there, I promise. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I want you to grab a block and take your block down to the floor. You can either rest it on the medium or the low height, not the high height. And you're gonna just lay down, and let's start with our right side. We're gonna massage the right rotator cuff muscles first. So you're gonna lay on your back, but kind of roll to your right side and take that massage ball or your tennis ball, and you're gonna place it kind of in the crook of your armpit there. And then roll it a little bit further down. So again, just where we were palpating before, right at the edge of the shoulder blade, that's where you want to aim it. And then you're going to roll and see if you can kind of keep the ball there. These are always a little awkward to get into, but see if you can keep the ball there as you roll onto your right side. I'm going to place my block a little higher. And then from here, you can just pause and kind of wiggle around for a second. See if you can find some good spots. You might have to adjust your massage ball. Everybody is a little different. And then once you find a good spot, just make sure that you're not towards your chest. You are towards your back. So you're around the outer armpit wall, not the inner armpit wall. And then from here, you're going to just make a soft fist with that right hand, your bottom hand. And then we're going to externally rotate. So bring your hand down towards the floor, the back of your hand. And then lift your hand up and internally rotate. You can even use your other hand to assist yourself Don't force it down, but gentle pressure. And we're going to do that 3 more times. So externally rotate nice and slow, and then internally rotate, maybe assisting yourself. Externally rotate and internally rotate. Good. And then come back to center. And we're going to move just a little bit lower down the shoulder blade. So you can roll back onto your back. Move the ball a little bit further down towards the bottom edge of your shoulder blade. And then once you get it on a good spot, roll over back onto your side. Ooh, that's a good spot for me. You might notice some sensations running down your arm. If you do, just be mindful. If they get super intense, then change your position. We're going to do that same thing that we just did. So externally rotate and then internally rotate, maybe assist. If it's too intense, don't assist. And let's do that a few more times. It can feel kind of weird because we're pinning the muscle down that's performing this action. So good. And then come back to center. You're going to roll off the ball. And now we're going to be aiming it onto the actual shoulder blade itself. So I'm just going to sit up here. Your shoulder blade lives, right here. If you look at my little skeleton dude, right? You're trying to massage this big, bony, open part right here. So there's a muscle that lives there. You're going to place your massage ball right there. And then come down. And it might take a little bit of adjustment. You can use the block on the lower height. And so your body might be turned to the right just a little bit, but you are lying on your back. But to get the pressure, you might roll slightly towards your right side. And then again, you're going to bring your elbow out to the side, and we're going to externally rotate. So back of your hand moves towards the floor, and then internally rotate and externally rotate. And you can kind of move the massage ball around. Just make sure that it stays on the actual shoulder blade itself. It's not bad if it goes more towards the midline of your back. Then you're just massaging different muscles and not your rotator cuff, not your infraspinatus. Last one. And then back to center. And you can roll off that massage ball. So now you're going to take your block and slide it underneath your hips. Again, on the low height or the medium height. Place it right underneath your sacrum bone. And this is just going to give us a little bit of leverage. So now we're going to try to massage that supraspinatus. So that's the one that lives on top of your shoulder blade that runs along the top there. So you're going to take your massage ball, and actually let me just turn this way so you can see from the top angle as well. You're going to take that massage ball right on the back of that trap. So you're not on the top of your shoulder. You're a little bit further back, right on the top of the shoulder blade. And if you, so the floor underneath me is a little bit slippery, so the massage ball might move. So you do have to kind of pin it down, and it always is awkward. You can also try the same thing like in a doorway, and put your head through the doorway and place the massage ball on your shoulder as you lean forward into the doorway. But if you're doing this on a yoga mat or on a carpet, the ball won't move around as much either. So that's where you're getting it. I hope you can see, because I'm going to move back to my mat, because otherwise it will not stay. And then once you've got it in place, and if it's not perfect, that's okay. Still lots of good stuff up in there anyway. So now you're going to keep it in place, and you're going to shrug your shoulder up towards your ear, and then try to slide your fingers towards your foot. And you might even use your other hand to just stabilize the ball. Not a big shoulder shrug. It's not a very exaggerated one. It's just a little one, kind of like you're scrubbing that muscle with the ball as you move your arm up and down. You can maybe move it a little bit closer, a little further out, depending on how close to the shoulder or the neck you are. Good, and then release. Go ahead and just shake that out. And let's do the other side. So go ahead and come around and lay on your back. But again, you're laying with the block underneath your head for support. And then we're going to be placing it now on our left outer armpit wall along that outer edge of the shoulder blade. So take the ball in your right hand. You're going to lift that left arm up. Find the crook of your armpit there, and then move a little bit lower towards the bra line. And then start to roll onto your side. And again, you can move it around until you find some sweet spots in there. And if it ever gets to be too much, then just discontinue the movement and roll off. This can be intense, so just breathe and give yourself permission to stop if it's too much. We're going to add those external and internal rotations. So bring your hand towards the floor, back of your hand towards the floor. And then internal rotation, maybe using your other hand to assist. Your elbow stays at 90 degrees the whole time. Let's do that 3 more times. So externally rotate, internally rotate. Try not to hold your breath here either, because that makes your body tense up. So you are trying to, even though we're moving, we're trying to relax as best we can. Good, and then we're gonna move a little bit lower towards the lower edge of the shoulder blade, that bottom tip. Your shoulder blades are a little bit like wings, so you can think of moving towards the bottom of your wing. And then once you're there, it does help sometimes to palpate around too. So if you need to, you can try to feel around and find the bottom edge of your shoulder blade. And then once you're there, we're gonna do those external and internal rotations, using your other hand to assist in that internal rotation. And you might notice that your 2 sides have much different sensations. Do 1 more. And then back to center. Go ahead and roll off. So now we're going to be placing the ball on your infraspinatus. So again, that is on the actual shoulder blade itself, not the inside of the shoulder blade. So you want to be on the actual shoulder blade. So as you lay down, you can place the ball down, or you can try to pin it there as you lay down. But it's gonna feel like you're on a bone. You are on a bone. And then once you get it into position, remember your body is slightly rolled to the left, but you are lying on your back, but a little more weight to that left shoulder to apply pressure. Bend your elbow out to the side at 90 degrees, and then externally rotate. You might feel that one pretty intensely because that's the action of the infraspinatus, is to externally rotate. We'll do that just a few times. And then last one here. And then release. You can always spend more time here on any of these as well, but I'm just giving you kind of a short demonstration on how to work into these muscles. And then if you find any like super good spots, I really do invite you to return to that area and give it a little extra love. So now we're going to massage that supraspinatus, so the one that lives on top of your shoulder blade. So slide the block under your hips. That's just going to give you some leverage. Again, you can also do this in a doorway if it's too awkward to do it like this. You're going to get that ball right to the top of your shoulder blade, so behind your upper trap. And then bring your arm along your side. You can use your other arm, your right arm, to stabilize the ball in place. And then we're just going to do little shoulder shrugs. The job of your supraspinatus is to resist gravitational forces that try to pull your arm down. So we're kind of simulating that with the shoulder shrug. And then when you're ready, you can move it a little bit closer if you haven't already. Do just a couple more. Or you can move it a little further out towards your shoulder. You don't actually want to be on the edge of your shoulder where all those bones meet. And then go ahead and release. Just come off the block. You can place that off to the side. Go ahead and sit up. If you'd like, you can sit on your block. And then the very last thing that we're going to do is just grab that massage ball. And these aren't your rotator cuff muscles, but the chest, the tightness through the chest or stiffness through the chest can impinge the movement of the rotator cuff muscles. So you're just going to take the ball with opposite hand to shoulder and massage underneath the collarbone. Just make little circles with the ball along your chest, all the way out to your shoulder. You can do that a few times. Good, and then other side. And just a little note as we finish this, whenever you are massaging, try not to stay on one spot for longer than like a minute or so. That can actually start to create a little bit more inflammation than what we'd like. So whenever you're working on yourself with a massage ball or a foam roller, just be mindful of how long you're working an area. Good, and then go ahead and relax. You can place that ball down. We are done with the ball. And then take your arms out to the side and just do some gentle internal and external rotation. So you're flipping the palms up and down, letting the elbows move with that. And you should feel those upper arm bones rotating back and forth in the sockets. And just do that at a few different angles. So we mobilized all those tissues with the massage ball, and now we're just integrating that with some movement and range of motion. Maybe straighten the arms, reach in all directions as you continue to internally and externally rotate. And then just nice big arm circles here. Reverse direction. And then release, and just shake everything out. Take your hands to the tops of your knees, close your eyes, or you can just let your gaze unfocus and your eyes soften. And then take a nice deep breath into your chest and into your shoulders and expand the upper body. Long exhale. One more just like that. Wonderful. So I hope you enjoyed this massage ball class. Remember to go back and try out those areas again. If you have any questions about where you're massaging, if you're not sure if you're getting right, make sure to pop it in the comments and I will definitely help you out. I can always make a follow-up video because I know that it's not always clear that you're working in the right place. So just a few notes that you shouldn't feel nerve pain while you're massaging. So if you feel a lot of intense nerve pain, just switch the area that you're on. And I said any nerve pain. You might feel a little bit of sensation. Just if the nerve pain gets very intense, then definitely move. And if the nerve pain, if you're there a long time, so like if you're massaging over a minute, then you might irritate that nerve a little bit. So just know that if you feel the tingling, burning, icy hot sensations, anything like that. And yeah, hope your shoulders feel a little bit more open and relaxed. And I will see you in the next class.